Welcome back to NHL Now. Robin Lehner made some news last night on Twitter with this statement. He was talking first about the game last night against the Calgary Flames. He said, great performance tonight from our team. Have to address, though, that I will not go to the Olympics. I'm very disappointed, and it was a tough decision for me as it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Reality is what have been said about how it's going to be over there may not be ideal for my mental health. He continued, took a long time to make the decision with my psychiatrist and family. My well-being have to come first, and being locked down and not knowing what happens if you test positive is too much of a risk for me. Sweden will have a great team, and Markstrom is a beast. Hope people will understand. So that from Robin Lehner. And to discuss that and a lot more of the things that are going on around the National Hockey League, we bring in our NHL Network insider, Elliotte Friedman. And Elliotte, let's start with regarding NHL players participating in the Olympics. What is the cutoff date for when a decision needs to be made, and where are the sides right now?
The cutoff date without financial penalty to the NHL is January 10th, EJ. And I think they're going to take it right up until that time. Like, unless there's a multitude of cancellations that makes it obvious that they can't go, I believe they're going to wait until the last possible moment. Now, Leonard was the first one to announce that he would not go. I think there's other players who are privately concerned about the same things that he talks about. The possibility of a 3-week quarantine, which is what they've been told to brace for potentially right now. I don't think there's a lot of people who are thrilled about that, particularly the players and the teams. But I think there are still some players who are hoping against hope that maybe something will change or something can be negotiated or things will be better. I don't know that the likelihood of that is anywhere, but you know, they want to be Olympians so badly that you kind of wait to hope that maybe something can develop. But there's no question about it right now, EJ, that there is a lot more pessimism than there was in the summer. I just think we have to let this play it out. But if that 3-week quarantine continues, Leonard's not going to be the only player that's going to have a big issue with it.
And it sounds like it's the old story. When you have time, use it. I think you've used that line before. I think that's the
Lamoriello rule. The Lamoriello rule, yes.
That's right. So let me ask you this. Has anything changed since the original NHL-NHLPA deal was struck a while back now?
I think just the thing that's changed, EJ, is that I think in the summer it was still kind of out there, right? And like the league, you heard the commissioner and the deputy commissioner last year at the Stanley Cup Final. While they weren't thrilled about the Olympics, they made a promise to the players and they planned on living up to it. I think that, as we get closer and we're just starting to see kind of the reality of the situation, I think the teams are very uncomfortable with the possibility of, say, like a player test positive right before the gold medal game, for example. A team's going to say, wait, we're going to lose this Olympic-level player for 3 weeks. And I think the players themselves are sitting there saying, I'm not so sure I'm comfortable with that if I know I'm going to be trapped there for 3 weeks. And, I think, just the entire landscape around the Olympics is changing too, almost on a daily basis. So as we get closer, there's a lot of things that are there that I think people are coming to grips with. And I know they want to be Olympians badly. I know they do. And like I said, I think some are holding out hope that it can change. But I think the reality of the situation is starting to hit people pretty hard.
All right, Elliotte, we've had a lot of news in the last 12 hours when it comes to coaches around the league. 2 coaching changes. I want to ask you about Philly. Mike Yeo stays, and he has become the interim head coach there. How much of this has to do with maybe the money situation with the coaches? Of Alain Vigneault being out, they've got to pay him. How much of it has to do with maybe money? How much of it has to do with maybe team philosophy moving forward and the possibility that changes? Why do you think it's Mike Yeo?
Well, I think the number one reason it's Mike Yeo is that when Chuck Fletcher met with the media last week, I believe him that he didn't want to make a change, that he wanted to see if he could get his team to battle through this and issue a call to action, and maybe the Flyers could rally. And my grandmother used to have a line, you plan, God laughs. Well, that's what happened here. They had a plan. After 2 games, it became apparent that they couldn't change it, that they had to change it. And tonight they had a game. It was a back-to-back. You need someone to coach. Chuck Fletcher is obviously very comfortable with Mike Yeo, and Mike Yeo gets that opportunity for that reason. I don't get the sense that Fletcher has done much, if anything at all, to go find another head coach for the Philadelphia Flyers and to see if there is someone out there that they want to hire full-time. I think the other thing, EJ, I think there's a chance that Yeo gets some runway here. I don't want to say he'll coach for the rest of the season, though that rumor has been flying around there. I don't think that's impossible. But I think the biggest question the Flyers have right now is, where are we going? And they made trades. They've now made a coaching change. Assuming they don't make the playoffs, and the odds are really against them, they're going to have to make some more really hard decisions. And I think one of the things they're going to look at is, does it make sense for us to hire someone with term right now before we know where our direction is going to be and what changes we might need to make after this season? And I do think that's a question that they will ask themselves.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to consider. But let me ask you this from their standpoint as well. They're back in action tonight. They've got the rested Colorado Avalanche, so that will be a handful for sure. They have a tough schedule moving forward of a lot of games in a short period of time. Suppose the results are similar to the result they had last night against Tampa over the next 3, 4, 5 games. Does the pressure then mount for them to bring in somebody completely from the outside?
I don't know. And I think your question about the finances of the situation are a fair one. Even like a company that owns the Flyers, like Comcast, they may be worth bajillions of dollars. You don't want to be throwing money around there. I just think that right now, if you're Philly, you've got to be asking, do we have the right mix? And, like I said, you've made some trades. You've fired a coach now. Do you really think that another coach right now is going to make – is there somebody that you really feel that you need right now is going to make that much difference? I think if you're the Flyers, your questions are going even deeper than that. And I think that's the bigger thing they're thinking about right now is, does it make sense to go out and add someone and give them term until we really know what our direction is going to be? If you look at what Vancouver did, Bruce Boudreau was willing to take this year and next, and that's one of the reasons he's there. Is that Vancouver, until they decided their direction and who was going to run their hockey ops, they didn't want to coach with a lot of term. And I could see Philadelphia kind of looking at it the same way. Before we give someone term, is there something else we have to do here?
Elliotte, before we let you go, I want to ask you about that Canucks situation. Bruce goes behind the bench as head coach. The GM spot for now is open. They will begin a search. What are you hearing? Who might be some of the candidates that they'll really maybe drill down on?
Well, one of the things I hear is that after 3 months of television with you, EJ, Bruce really wanted to get back into coaching.
Hard to blame him.
That's the first thing I wanted to tell you I heard.
I'll tell you what, though, Elliotte, he's so much smarter now. I mean, I have no question it's going to do very well.
Yes, there's no – I think that Vancouver has already begun the search. I think they've been looking at candidates. I think they've been doing their due diligence on people like Marc Bergevin, on Scott Mellanby, on Jim Rutherford. I think they're deciding what they want to do. The one thing I heard about the Canucks is they wouldn't make any long-term commitments until they were absolutely sure they had the right people or person. And I think they are going through that right now. And I think one of the things they're also asking is there anybody that we don't know or that we don't have access to now who we could have access to? And all I've heard is that the question is, can we not so much do we have to hire a guy? It's let's make sure we get the right person.
All right. Well, we'll be following it all. And the door is moving quick here, Elliotte. Guys are coming and going. Jeff Gorton was here. He's gone. Bruce Boudreau here and gone. We'll see. We'll just have to see what happens next.
I just have to say, EJ, if somebody wants another job, they should come work next to you because it seems to me you're the most powerful person in hockey right now.
Elliotte, you might want to take a little bit of a break after a comment like that. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. And get back to work.
All right, EJ, I will. Take care.